A bit of an update for those who are following the little R31. Just been flat out with work on the day job and then on the car parts as well, so haven't had much daylight time for spare to make a video, but been working on it slowly and steadily. As you can see, back to RB30 and a 5-speed, so there's still a lot of things that I want to prototype for an R31, and it's pretty much centered around running an RB30 or an RB based engine, so I'd had to go back in sooner or later. As you can probably tell is that the engine bay is no longer the original maroony brown colour with all the power steering fluid stains and the overflow stain on the driver's sides. While I had the car stripped because I oversold lock kits and had to strip the car to get a few R31ers out to Matsuri and Archfield and all that, managed to clean the engine bay up and paint it. I've actually used this Loop brand paint, so it's graffiti paint of all things, and the only reason I chose it is because the swasp on the top is actually painted on of the actual colour, so whereas other brands are printed, this is actually the colour it comes. It actually goes on really thick and it covers up so much. No primer, nothing, it's graffiti paint, so it'll paint over anything basically. It was really good to paint it, looks heaps better, and did it with 2 cans. I've got 3 cans just so I can colour code a few bits and pieces. And then naturally, once I'd painted the engine bay up, there was other bits and pieces that would look pretty shabby, so painted all this black again and part of the interior, and then the brake booster as well, got a touch up of black. But basically just in the process of putting it back together, kind of more the way that I want it to be. So I've got to still put the lock setup back in it. I've got to do another cross member, and then I've got some R34 plus 35 LCAs and some big Magna rack ends for it. I still kept the caster brackets, these are actually the last pair, so I made sure I kept the pair, so it'll still run the curved caster rods. And then a few bits and pieces that I still want to make. Trying to fit a strut brace to it, but I want to clear everything, so I've just got it mocked up, but I'll end up laser cutting some new bases so it'll reach the back here. And then I pulled the AC out, but I put all the plastic back together so all the fans still work. So I'll end up laser cutting a cap here with the little RB factory logo, and then eventually I'm going to run this thing with a Ford XR6 turbo, so I've got to make a manifold and a dump pipe so it goes into the original exhaust. To do that, that'll be a bit further down the track, maybe February-ish. And then surprisingly, with how bent the car looked, it was actually pretty straight. Like, there's no kinks in the chassis rail. Usually they kink up the front here or they kink down the back, but they haven't done that. And so while I've been putting it back, I've managed to put one of the little BMC stoppers in it, and then I've got the Hell one-piece braided brake line as well in it to match everything else in that Kawasaki green. So one of the parts that I really want to do is I want to do an auto to manual and an auto to RB25 gearbox cross member. So most people know that when you manualise a auto, because the 40mm pins are different to the 75mm pins in a manual, you always end up bolting the gearbox cross member in on 2 bolts. Well, I'm going to do very similar to the Barrow one, where I've got the 6 slots, so I'll do auto and manual, and then put it in the position to be able to put the RB30s or RB20 gearbox in the right spot, and then have a set of holes further back to be able to put a 25 box in it, so there'll be no need for a custom cross member and all that shit to be made in the future. Interior wise, just been paint really. Painted the brown trim and the pink. If you remember, this used to be pink. Painted all that black, and I painted the brown steering wheel surrounds black. I've actually managed to track down another dash fascia now, so I'll be able to put one in after Christmas and have the all dash complete, so I'll be able to button all that back up, be able to put the door cards back on and whatnot. And then the only thing I've still got to track down is a center console. I'll hopefully get one with the flip lid. I want to 3D print the top part of it to have 2 drink holders in it, so you can put 2 drinks in it without having to open the lid. So it'd be nice to get one of them so I can start working on that. But yeah, still got the hydro in it, still works fine. And then yeah, the other parts that I'm looking at prototyping pretty quick is the rear end parts. So I'll show you some of them. Right, then under the back you can see the diff covers off, mainly because I've got it off and I'm measuring up. I'm going to run a Watts link on this car, well, prototype a Watts link on this car, so I'll have a completely new diff hat that'll have the slider in it, and then I'll have the cam on that diff hat, and then pick up this original panhard rod mount for one of the arms, and then I'll have to do another either bolt in or weld in setup for that side, so I can run the other arm on that side. And then got it so it'll go from the center all the way down to 10mm below the bottom of the housing, so that should give me lots of roll center adjustment. One of the other parts that I'm prototyping for the rear is a traction bracket setup. So this car's in full sag at the moment, but you can imagine with how low it runs with how flat the exhaust is. So I want to be able to bolt in a bracket onto the rear here, and then have different increments of adjustment to be able to reposition the angle of the lower trailing arm so it sort of doesn't point straight at the ground anymore. You can sort of have it above horizontal, so it's ideally I want to get the line of the two intersection points pointing at the back of the cam again. We'll see how far we go, and we'll see how close we can get it to the ground without dragging it and everything. And then when I finally pull this diff out, when I've got all the other pieces ready, I'm got a plate laser cut to work as a guide to be able to redraw this. So I'm gonna move the mounting position of the top trailing arm. I'm gonna drill 2 holes, and hopefully then it won't be on such a big angle. As you can see from the dent on the exhaust up there that this thing runs pretty low. I want to be able to try and get some adjustment back in the rear and try and find some traction. And when I finally get it ready, I've still got a pair of adjustable trailing arms, so I'll be able to adjust the pinion angle once it's in. I haven't driven this car, so I got no idea whether it vibrates or not with the pinion angle that it's got, but the car is pretty much tucking 15, so it's pretty low, and I kind of want to keep it that low, but we need to fix up some of the geometry to make it actually do nice things. So I've got a little bit in front of me, and there's a little bit of extra stuff. There'll be a few guards and stuff because of how low I run it. Gonna do a bash plate and probably something to protect the fuel tank, and then because everything's bent on the car, I'll be boxing a set of lower trailing arms with the 50mm dimple dies and putting new bushes in it. Pretty much every bush in this thing's dead. And then yeah, this trailing arm's pretty bent. The other one's not too bad, so you can almost guarantee that the thing crabs. Thanks for watching. If you like what you watch, feel free to subscribe. And make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Cheers.